We are in the Green Raven Center for Body, Mind and Soul, and we're specifically in the office of homeopathic practitioner Jamie Capranos. And welcome, Jamie. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into homeopathy?
Yeah. So long ago when I was a teenager, I had an injury to my back, and that led me, along with the help of my mother, to seek out a whole variety of practitioners, many conventional and chiropractors, acupuncturists, you name it, herbalists, and many of them gave me some relief. But that whole process as a young, open-minded teenager led me to seek out the healing arts quite passionately. And I went to university and studied biology and worked with a medical doctor. He was a homeopath as well as a medical doctor. And I worked in his office, and through that became very interested in homeopathy, which then led me to seek the help of a homeopath and then go to homeopathy school. And I found it, of all the modalities, the one that gave me the deepest healing, such that I live now in no pain whatsoever, and there's been no long-term residual chronic pain from that experience. So with my mind and my enthusiasm, I just became determined to find a healing modality that was curative, that was more than just maintaining symptoms. And to make a long story short, I fell in love with homeopathy.
Well, and as a result, the practice that you have, I'm sure it's really large. I'm sure that you've branched out and you've reached a lot of people here on the island.
Yeah, I have.
How long have you had a practice here?
5 years. Yeah, about 5 years. And I also work with herbs. I'm also an herbalist, so I bring in herbs to nourish the body. I love herbs because I find them nutritive. They're full of vitamins and minerals, tone the tissues, and along with homeopathic treatment, I find herbs can also be great for gently detoxifying the body. So I believe they're a beautiful marriage, herbs and homeopathy.
Wonderful marriage. And on Salt Spring, even collecting herbs, they're just right here. I mean, look at the beautiful backdrop that we are. You probably can look out there and identify 20 herbs as we look out there. With homeopathy, can you just give us just a few, a capsule, if that's possible, of what is homeopathy?
So homeopathy is an ancient healing practice that was formulated 250 years ago from a German doctor who was disenchanted by the medical practices of his time. It was the age of purgatives and, leeching people using heavy doses of arsenic or mercury. And through his own studies of the writings of the fathers of medicine, Hippocrates and Paracelsus, among many others, he discovered this ancient law of like cures like. So using a very small amount, a medicinal dose of a plant or a mineral, he would dilute it such that it was rendered non-toxic and yet yielded powerful medicinal properties. So in homeopathy today, we use these minute doses, essences of plants or minerals, and what they do is they stimulate the vital force or the immune system. And what's unique about homeopathic remedies, they're working on the chi or the vital force, call it whatever you want to, as well as boosting the immune system. So homeopathy works indirectly on tissues. It really communicates to our inner mechanism, our healing mechanism, to heal itself. And that is what the body is designed to do, is to heal itself.
So positive.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
That we want to heal ourselves.
And the other distinguishing factor between homeopathy and other traditions is it looks at the whole individual. So if 5 people with headaches come to see me, each of those 5 people will receive a different remedy, because ultimately it's a practice of individuation. What makes you separate from many other women your age who may have your health complaint? And this is often what people are attracted to, instead of just the generic drug or medicine for the illness. We're looking at the person who may have the illness.
So very specific to the individual.
Yeah.
And is that where constitutional remedies come out?
Yeah, exactly. So as a constitutional practitioner, I'm looking at the whole person. So the various things that have impacted you in your life, positive, negative, traumas, injuries, accidents, all of what makes you an individual. We're looking at the constellation of the person. And that is what constitutional practicing is, looking at the whole person. I teach a lot of classes for mums who have children, and in our classes it's all about learning remedies to treat minor conditions, so bumps, bruises, bladder infections, headaches, fevers, coughs, colds.
So one can self-remedy if they have the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And yet you're here to help out.
And I get a lot of phone calls, and many of them are acute, so I definitely make myself available for those, yeah.
So tell me about the courses that you offer.
So I teach many first aid classes, homeopathy at home I call it, and it's an introductory course, and then I also teach a more intermediate or advanced course for people who fall in love with it and wish to continue studying. So evening, usually a Tuesday or Wednesday night, we get together for 5 or 6 sessions, and all kinds of people who are interested in learning about remedies to use at home for their families.
Yeah, it's so empowering. I love this, and really it's a metaphor for our world as we'd like it to be.
Absolutely, yeah, it really is. It's about allowing people to find their own place of power in healthcare and not become a passive consumer of healthcare, but instead to really take initiative and learn about their bodies and learn that there are herbs, homeopathic remedies, ways to heal through nutrition and food.
Do you find that as a result of this that your clients take such an interest in their own health that it ricochets out further in their world to how they eat, who their friends are, the types of movies they watch?
Absolutely, yeah. It's about people becoming more conscious, ultimately, I believe that is in part what healing is. It's a process of coming into consciousness, waking up. Through illness, sometimes that is the pathway through which we learn. And people, it's a beautiful thing as people decide and learn that they can make choice, and that has an impact on their families. Voting with our dollar by choosing organic.
I love that, voting with your dollar. Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. That's holistic. It's a holistic model.
So to me, homeopathy is really compatible with other healing art modalities here in Green Raven Center. There are a couple of other practitioners that you work side by side. Do you find that that works really well with your clients as well?
Yes, definitely. A lot of people come here and work with all of us or one or two of us, and it's quite beautiful. We're able to really give complementary care and address a person's holism or totality in many different ways. There's an osteopath here, acupuncturist, and massage therapist.
And do you also find in a professional sense that you consult with each other as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's a beautiful community.
You know, it's really interesting. We were just chatting with Bruce from Bruce's Kitchen, and he was saying the same thing, that whole row of restaurants in downtown Ganges. And he said how some of the different owners or chefs would come in and either borrow equipment or talk about a recipe, and he just said what an amazing community of people that just care. They're very separate in what they do, and I'm hearing the same thing with you.
Collection of unique individuals, and yet we find our way to be symbiotic with one another, and it strengthens the whole.
It does. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this, Jamie.
Yeah,
Have you got anything else that you want to talk about with your practice that has enhanced your life personally?
Well, I think, learning homeopathy is really about learning a new way to see the world. It's a new lens through which to see the world. And it's given me such profound gratitude and awe at the power of the individual and how each person is so unique in their expression. And if anything, it's given me great appreciation for life.
Yeah, absolutely.